we doing out there? Okay. Well, right now there's nobody out there. Okay. I can get myself together. Right. Okay. Here we go. That's a little bit better. All right. Well, welcome. Okay. Somebody's joined us. Thank you. So today's recap, we're going to talk about the confidence episode. So I hope you saw it. If you did, give me a thumbs up or something down here so I can see. There's always this chat box for everybody that wants to join into the conversation that is available for us. Hello, hi Andy. Yes, I hope to see you soon as well. I'm ready for this evening when I'm done. But right now, let's talk about tonight's episode. Who saw it? It was amazing, right? There was a debut of Candace Byrne. She was gorgeous. Yes, that is actually Andrea Byrne is actually Candace's mom on the show. So thank you so much. Yes, it was amazing. She spoke such great energy to our young women. She was so smart and strong. I loved it, and she looked amazing. So thank you, Andy. We contribute a lot of that confidence to you, Mama, because we know that's where most of it comes from, right? Because it starts in the house. But anything else did we see about the episode tonight? I took some notes because there was quite a bit. We talked about the money piece, right? We talked about confidence and money. Oh, we all looked amazing. Thank you. You know, we're trying. I'm trying. You know, I'm still here trying to do what it do. But yes, thank you. We talked about confidence. We talked about money. Did anybody catch that? If you caught that, that was great. It was an episode piece where we talked about how people hesitate to pay their bills sometimes because they are constantly thinking about how hard they work to get that money. So it's hard to kind of let go of that money because that money gives them confidence, which is why payday is the day that people like to stunt. You know, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, I stunt on my paydays, you know, when I have something left. You know? But for the most part, I mean, I think it's in our energy. Like we want to, you know, be confident. We want to use what we have and what we've earned, and we want to show off a little bit, and that's okay. You know, we come from royalty, we're supposed to just a little bit, you know. But anyways, we also talked about like confidence boosters. If you have any questions out there, please feel free to write them in the chat box because, you know, this is an interactive live class right now, a free college course. We're just recapping the Web 2.0, I think that's what it's called. I never get those right. I know, as a faculty trainer, I should know what that means, but I never get that. But so anyways, we started with the video and then we're doing the recap and then we're going to go into the lecture right after this. So please don't hesitate. Don't leave is what I meant to say. So hold on. We talked about what else? Power boosters. How do we boost our confidence? We gave a little insight about like listening to music and self-talk. And I know I briefly touched on that in the show. And for some people who don't know what that is when you literally kind of just sit in the mirror and you coach yourself up. You say, you know what? You are beautiful. You are smart. You can get this job. You are not crazy, like those types of things. When you can do positive self-talk, you can really instill some great values inside. Because I know on the show, we kept talking about everything being inside out. And again, for those who are trying to dissect what that means that you as a person have complete control and autonomy of everything that goes on around you, from the people that you're around, from the energy that you take in, to the space that you keep, like, all of these things are your choice, you know. And I kind of want to say something, but I feel like it would be very controversial. But I'm going to do it anyways because I kind of really, oh, okay, thank you for saving me because I was probably going to say something I shouldn't have. The money piece was good. I always try and think that if I wanted to make a purchase of $100, how many hours I would have to work to make that purchase. That puts into perspective if I buy it or not. Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I was saying on the show. And right now, that if you calculate like how many days it takes you and hours to get that money, again, it's a lot. But beyond just having confidence in money, let's talk about just confidence in work. I know a lot of people out here right now are trying to figure out what's going on at work. They're very insecure with their job security, and that's a very scary feeling, because I'll be perfectly honest with you. Nobody knows. This is a very non-programmed decision that everybody's making. And we talked about non-programmed decisions before. Remember what that is? If anybody does, you can write it in the chat box. If not, then I'll go ahead and give you this freebie. Um, it's a very scary feeling. It is. And nobody knows what's going on. Everybody is new. This is new to everybody. So please do not be fooled that leadership has it figured out. And I'm not going political on you. I'm talking about leadership in your jobs, leadership at your work. They are trying to figure this thing out one step at a time. There was never a time where they had to manage around this. So it's very scary to think that a lot of people are kind of stuck in either we need to hurry up and get back to the old way, or we need to figure out how to just get through this now. But that's not the reality, and I need everybody to kind of understand that. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. There you go. Two different things. One can prescribe medicine, something. Okay, but I'm neither. But I do know people, and I do know management, and I do know leadership. I have a very thorough background in the subject, and let me tell you right now that they are figuring something out, but it may not be perfect and it may not be what you expect it to be. But I will say this, you should be confident enough to know what you expect out of this on the other end and what you want to see on the other side. Because if we leave it up to them to just solely make the decisions on how we're going to handle this thing moving forward, then we've kind of left a whole lot in their hands when we probably should have just kind of, taking control of some things in our life. And that's the confidence that we need to do. We need to be able to try new things. We need to be able to go out and try the world and experience the world and travel when this thing opens back up. Because I know a lot of people are trying to figure out, like, when it opens back up, everything's either going to go right back the same, or some of us are never going to travel again. Well, that's a very scary, scary thought. And I'll tell you why. Because no one should ever be so scared that they don't want to move. If you get so comfortable in where you are, that means that's a dangerous place to be. And I have a question right here, really quickly. Confidence on a whole is a good topic. Personally, for me, I struggle with the picture of me in my head versus the physical reflection of me in the mirror. You know what? Everybody does. Everybody does. I struggled to decide if I was going to wear this top today because, well, I got a little fat pooch right here. But again, it is a struggle for everybody to not match their head to their physical, right? But here's the thing, that's something that is in you, not even in anybody else. And there's this whole theory, there's this Johari's window theory, right? Okay, so I have to give you a little bit of education because this is a course. So Johari's window is this window of this unknown factor. And it has like these 4 little sections in it. And it says, things that are known to self, things that are known to others, things that are unknown to self, and things that are unknown to others. And they have these little sections, right? Well, I'm going to skip over the whole basics of it. I need you to research more of that. But what it is that most people's reflection of themselves through the window is not what other people see of them through that same window. So when we look at all of the little flaws that we have, we look at the pooch, we look at this, we look at the lack of, and it may not even be the physical reflection. And I know a lot of people are thinking physicality, like body physicality, but I know that deeper than that, when we're talking about physical reflection, even physical things that you own and physical life that you're reflecting, if that makes any kind of sense, like the home you own, the car you drive, those types of things. And tell me if I'm not right, Andy, who asked this question, but if I am, then yes, those things will weigh on you if you are not appearing to others the way you think you should be. And the hardest critic is yourself when you feel that way, because at the end of the day, the only person that's in that window that has to actually look in it every day is you. So like what you see. And if you don't like it, change it. If you don't like it, change it. And it sounds very like abrupt and very like to the point, but sometimes that's how we gotta be. And I do it to myself all the time. You don't like it, change it. You don't like feeling sad, change it. Fix it. Do something. Like you gotta shift. We all definitely, yes, our hardest critics. And here's what I want you to know is that I tell this to people all the time who get down on themselves. I say, celebrate the win you're in. And you know what that means? That means wherever you are at this moment, you could be so much better, so much worse off. So you have to celebrate the little wins because you got to think you're farther ahead of yourself now than you maybe were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 5 years ago, or even 3 weeks ago. Do you understand? Like a lot of people have a hard time understanding that life doesn't happen expeditiously, right? It happens in a moment and when we have time to think it through, plan it out, prepare for it. Because God's never going to give you anything that you're not prepared for anyways, because you don't know how to hold on to it because you haven't had preparation, you know? So life sometimes gives you all of these preparations and we take them as defects, and they're not. They're not defects. They're actually very enlightening pieces to help someone else. You're going to use every experience that you have to help someone else, which is what I do, which is why I can only be me. And I don't sugarcoat things. Like tonight's episode, you guys heard that I had a tummy tuck and a breast reduction, right? Like I know, like my teacher's telling me that. Yes, Professor Shelton is sharing that with you because I'm human. And yes, I didn't like my physical reflection at some point. It was bearing on my confidence. I like swimming, you know? I like being a mermaid. I'm sure you can talk about it, right? Nobody is where they want to be, okay? Nobody's in the body that they want to be in. Nobody is in the life that they want to be in. Everybody should be striving to get to the next life. Because if you're complacent in the current life, there's a serious, serious problem, right? So you have to learn how to move to the next piece of life. And when you do, don't forget to celebrate the wins that you're in, okay? You're breathing. And I know people always say, hey, you're breathing. You should be happy. But seriously, no, seriously, you're breathing. Because some people have a hard time breathing. You know, some people aren't. And then they're like, oh, you should be happy to have a roof over your head. Yes, we're thankful. We're grateful that we have a roof over our head. So celebrate that because somebody doesn't. So don't be so hard on yourself, and it's okay because confidence shouldn't come from those types of things anyways, right? Because if you have been a long-time subscriber, you know that there was a whole little speech that I gave about where my confidence comes from. And everybody, you got to understand that my confidence doesn't come from a lot of the places people think it comes from. And I joked tonight about it's not in a Mac store and it's not at the bottom of a Forever 21 bag. But what it is it's in God, you know, and I know a lot of people are hesitant to say that, but I'm not. And it's just not. I mean, there's a whole blessed sign behind me. So, you know, I mean, come on. Did you not know? But yes, that is where my confidence is rooted in. Like, and my sister kind of touched on it on the show and we mentioned it, but it's not even just this like religious thing, because I don't want anybody to tune out thinking I'm about to go left on you, but I am talking about just this confidence of aura of being okay with who you are, being okay with who he built you to be and the journey that you've been on and the exploration that you're on right now, right? Like, because everybody has a journey. This is your journey, right? My journey, your journey. But yes, and when we get to this place where we realize that our journeys are ours and they're going to be uniquely ours every single time. And the only thing that now we have to do is just sit back and really kind of enjoy the ride and stay connected to the person that's orchestrating it. And then just kind of feel, you know, the positives of life, you know, then you're okay. And I know people are like, it's not that easy. And I hear that backlash because I know I've had friends that have been diagnosed with depression. And again, I am not a doctor, not yet. I'm in school, but not yet. But even still, I'm not a doctor of that subject. But I do know that there are people that suffer from depression and they have to take medicine and they have to figure out how to boost their confidence. And because I'm not a doctor of that kind of drug, I am a doctor of another kind of dopeness drug, if that makes any kind of sense. So I kind of want to give you some stuff that doesn't have to go through the pharmacy. So I do want to tell you that there's ways to build your confidence. Putting things around the house that make you feel good. You know, I have signs that say blessed and God is in a good mood and, be still and know. Like that's all over my house. That's one of my favorite sayings, be still and know. And that is because sometimes it's okay to just be still. You know, we have a hard time figuring it out. Yes, you better buckle up. I see somebody up there saying, you better buckle up. He's going to buckle up. Yes, you better buckle up because your journey is going to be this great exploration as long as you just choose your purpose. And I know we were talking about work and we kind of shifted subjects. So I want to come back and give you some real world application about confidence in the workplace. And I'm still going to come back to that whole piece as well because, I come around and then, yeah, exactly. But so what I'm going to talk about a little bit is the confidence in the workplace. So now the workplace is open. Let's shift. We're 2020, right? The workplace is open. So we've got these people, right? They're saying, why should I let you work here? Okay. Now there's a difference between confidence and cocky. I don't want you to go into any place cocky. Cocky will get you exited out the door. But confidence, however, will get you a seat at the table. A seat at the table is something that you can take because you know what you're talking about. And a lot of people struggle with the confidence of knowing their craft, knowing their skill, knowing what they do. Well, I have some homework for you as well. But for now, this confidence in the workplace, when you go into the interview, they're going to say, why should I hire you? And you're going to say, you should hire me because I'm good. And you should own it. You should own it. If you are good at what you do, you should own it. You should say, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for such and such years. I've been researching your company. I know exactly what's going on. After 2020 shift, that's what we're going to call it now. After the 2020 shift, this is what I project your company should be doing based on what happened before. So when you go in with a plan, when you're that confident and they look at that plan and they say, hold up. So she's not coming in here asking me for a job. She's coming in or he's coming in telling me why I need them to work here. Because that's the difference. On the show, I said, I've gotten every job that I've ever interviewed for that I wanted. I will say that I wanted. There were a couple jobs I just didn't want. No. I don't want to be managed by a millennial wearing a hoodie during the interview, asking me about turkey sandwiches. I don't want any parts of that. No. But I would like to work for companies that respect their employees. They treat them as equals, their teammates, and they're part of a system, a community that helps grow a company. So when you go on a job interview and you're sitting at the other side of the table and you're trying to figure out how do I convince them to let me work for them, that's the wrong angle to go into any job with. So you got to flip it. Let me tell you why you would be missing out on the greatest mistake of your life if you don't give me this job. Because A, B, and C. And let me tell you what A, B, and C are. A, B, and C are your homework for this evening. Yes, it is. So I tell my students, here's your homework because you're now my students. Hello. You need to know at least 3 things about yourself at all times. 3 things that cannot be shaken with any sort of shift in your confidence. And I will give you my example. For instance, 1, I know I can teach. I'm very confident in that. I know this because I've won Teacher of the Year awards. I've won accolades. I've done Presenter of the Year for valedictorians and commencement speakers. Like those are the things that I've done. So I know I'm good at that. Nobody can tell me you're not a good teacher, Wanda, because guess what? DeWanda Lachey Shelton knows that she can teach. Okay. So that's one thing. You should know at least 3. So here's my others, and these are very quick. The other one is that I look good in all hats. I know, it's crazy, but I do. It doesn't care if it's a sombrero, it's this one. It's coming. He said, "Where's the homework?" And then the third one is I make a really good cheesecake. So at any time, if anything were to shake those 3 things, I know they're wrong because I'm so confident in those 3 things of my life that nobody can ever shake them. So your homework, mister, you're one of the eager students, right? Okay. So your homework now is to know 3 things about yourself that nobody can shake. And those are things that you know internally that even if somebody were to question it or suggest something sideways to contradict it, you'd be like, oh, that wasn't gifted towards me. That was that had to be somebody else because I know you're not talking about my cheesecake, right, Andy? Andy said the cheesecake is thank you. My cheesecake, I'm so confident in it. Again, you have to be that confident in your 3 things as well, because those are the 3 things you're going to take with you into a job interview. You're going to say, not, I will take my cheesecake got me hired for a job once. Yes. They called one of my references, and my references said, let me tell you something. If you don't hire her, you're going to be very upset that you missed out on the best cheesecake of your life. And they said, excuse me? And they said, ask her about it. Just tell her to make you a cheesecake if you give her the job. So I come in, they call me, they say, hey, we want to offer you the job. And I said, sure. And he goes, but only on one condition. And I said, what is that? You have to make us a cheesecake. And I said, say it, consider it done. So yes, being confident in those types of things, even your cheesecake, will get you into the jobs that you need to have. So I thank you, Ms. Dupree, for that reference too that day. But yes, so you got to know certain things about yourself in this job market. So when we go into these job industries and these people are asking us questions about why should they hire us or again, because most of us are going and asking to be hired and not telling them why we should be hired. That little shift in confidence right there is going to get you where you need to be. That's just one tip. The second tip is go in again with a plan. A lot of people come in and they say, well, ask me the questions because if you want to hire me, then you should have all the questions for me. No, that's not how life works. And that's definitely not how your career should work. Okay. And I say that because you have to work there for a very long time for a heavy duration of your day. And if you remember those 24 hours, a whole chunk of that is, again, your work day. So when you go into the interview, again, confident, not cocky, go in and say, you know what? I understand that there's a lot going on and there's been a shift in the system. However, in 2020, I'm just making some requirements for myself as to how I take on work. And the kind of work that I choose to take on now will be one in which I have job security, one in which I am respected as an employee, one in which you give me responsibilities in which there's weight, in which there's responsibility, in which there is something that has purpose, in which I have to help you with in this company. I don't want busy work, basically. And you should say that because as you look at how the dynamics of jobs have changed and the shifts have changed, like look at department store clerks, right? I've been out. I told you I've been out. I'm not crazy, but just a couple places. I've been out and I noticed that there was a department store that had their clerks who I'm sure signed up to be cashiers, right? Well, however, with the shift, now they're holding like towels and spray bottles and gloves and they're cleaning and wiping walls. Well, last time I checked, those are 2 totally different jobs. But somehow they're combining them. And the fact that they're combining them should now mean that the employees doing them should be expecting a little bit more pay because now you've taken over the cleaning part for you and the cashier part for you, and the extra hospitality part for you. It is a whole lot that a lot of people don't understand. Oh my God, Janiqua's here. One of my favorite students. Yes. So I just lost my train of thought. I got so excited. I do that all the time. She knows when I teach, I lose my train of thought. But anyways, so when you go in, they're asking you, that job description is different now. So what you should be demanding should be a little bit different now, because a lot of people who are disposable, have to now come back to the job market. But are you coming back to the same job? Are you coming back to the same pay? Are you coming back to the same responsibilities? No. So please don't come back with the same expectations across that interview table and let them lead the way through your career. You have to start saying things like, let me think about this, let me think about if this is the job that I want. And if it's not, do the numbers in your head. Can you live off that? Because you had to live off of that, right? And then when they took it away, they had to live off of that. Well, not me, thank God, I work for a Christian university and I love that, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful. But a lot of people don't. So when you do go back out there, guess what? Your interview approach should be totally different in management, because that's what I teach. And a lot of you are managers out there or work for management. You should approach it a little bit differently. You should be confident in what you are offering your employees that is so sturdy, that is so responsible, that is so healthy for them, that they have no choice but to want to come back to you. Because again, as we left off before, if all you're offering them is the job back, well, the job is not even the same job. There's so much going on that we just don't realize that the shift is not the same. I've sat in meetings, I've watched meetings. I don't know about you, but I'll look and see like YouTube funny clips about like things about what management is doing. Well, I will tell you right now, again, they don't know. So a lot of this is new and a lot of it is fresh for them. But as we go through the process of trying to figure out what is new, I will tell you, we better start following somebody who has a plan instead of trying to figure out the ones who don't. And that's just from every aspect of your life, from, the confidence piece of finding that in someone else, look in yourself, find that confidence you need, because you have to walk in you every single day. And that is what shows up on job interviews. And especially after the lights come back on and the world opens back up, only the ones with confidence are going to survive. I tell you that. Because we're the only ones confident enough to go outside our houses right now, because everybody else is sitting around. And by God, some of them can't help it, and some of them can, And those of you who can, you know who you are, and you should do something about this. And hopefully this little episode right here, this little lecture is enough to kind of help you really get some energy moving where you want to do something. Again, we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. If I waited till this flab went away, I would never be on TV. But guess what? One day it's going to go. Trust me. And I'm keep working at it every single day, because that's what confidence is. The confidence to continue working at it, getting better at your craft, getting better at your job, getting better at your career, getting better at your relationships, getting better at you, getting better at loving you, because we don't love ourselves as much as we should. We're harder, again, on ourselves because we are our harshest critics. And let me tell you something. They have nothing. They have nothing on the confidence that he has in us. So kill the naysayers. Kill the foolishness. Be you. Be confident in you. And I promise you, when the world opens back up, you're going to be ready, a little bit closer to the job interview process at least. But if you have any questions, please let me know, because we, do this for 30 minutes live after every episode, 7:30 Eastern, no, 7:30 Arizona time, and not 10:30? Yeah, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. So please join me every Friday at this time for the same kind of lecture and energy. And I thank you guys. There's 4 of us now. So yay, we got some viewers. And yes, thank you so much. Share. Please do. Confidence will change the path of your life. I'm reading these now. And then from the moment I went, oh, thank you. I just try. It comes from him. It doesn't come from me. Trust me. I would be at home in a closet eating peanut M&Ms if I could. But no, Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It was a great episode. If you did not see the episode, please go watch the episode. Catch up on some of the back episodes, and then you'll catch up and then kind of get some of the lectures. But anyways, I love you. Thank you guys. God bless, and you have a good night. Bye-bye.